Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Soup Bowl, where we're talking about leading our lives. I am your host, Renee Murdoch, coming from the shiny, wonderful state of VA. You know, we do it like that here. Again, welcome. Glad that you could join us. Glad that you're listening. Glad that you're watching. And glad that you're on the journey. So what are we going to get into today? I don't know. We're going to get into there's so many things that we could talk about when we're talking about leading our lives and just different avenues of what that looks like. But I can tell you this. If we don't get it together and leading our own lives, how do we think that we'll be effective leading others? So it first starts with us. Everything starts with us first. Accountability starts with us first. Responsibility starts with us first. And so, when they say you point the finger, go stand in the mirror and point the finger now when it comes to anything that you're complaining about, something that someone didn't do, whatever the case may be. Look at the mirror. Point to the mirror. You're talking about yourself. So I was in class and they were talking about accountability and responsibility, communicating and things of that nature. And one thing that really stood out to me was this statement that was made that if someone says that they did not understand what you have said, or they did not fulfill what you thought that they were going to fulfill, then you are the person that is 100% responsible for that means of communication. If you decide that you want to place the blame on the other individual because they did not get it, then you are in the wrong. So, of course, I'm paraphrasing and anything like that. But basically, it was just saying, take responsibility for the action. You're communicating something. You're asking for something to be done. You're asking for something in return, whatever that may be. And the person does not give you what you were intending to receive. You didn't communicate it well. You didn't communicate it well. And if you try to point the finger at the other person or make them even remotely responsible for anything that was not right, then that means you didn't communicate it properly. That's okay. That's okay. That is where we're talking about getting to an understanding. Effective communicating. I always thought I was a great communicator. I really did. Boom. Straight to the point. I was only fooling myself. I was on this high horse thinking that I was the great communicator, when in fact I was not the great communicator. I was the great communicator inside of myself and not to others, right? So especially if someone does not understand the delivery, right, of you, the individual, or your makeup and how you communicate. Because communication is not just what we're saying. Communication is also the body language in which we are delivering our message, and as well as our tone. So, y'all know I'm married. I'm married, y'all. So, if I am communicating with Murdoch and my tone is not right, then he ain't hearing nothing I have to say. I could be saying the right thing, but he's not hearing anything that I have to say. So I'm going to put him out here a little bit. So he said this year he was going to be more gentle to his girls, to his ladies. And those ladies are myself, my daughter. he was going to be more gentle. He's going to be more kind towards us. It's like, oh, wow, that's great. I love it. You're thinking of us, So it's like, yay. And so the other day, he was telling the child that they needed to be ready at a particular time. So I done freed myself from this, but he has not yet to do it. So I'm going to help some of y'all out today too, so you can free yourself if you have not already done this. So I know that the child don't move like that. They don't move like that. So I know that I have to tell the child to be ready 15 minutes prior than what I actually plan on leaving out the door, right? And then if the child has to do something for themselves and I need to be ready, I make sure that I'm down there right at the time where they say they want to go, because they're not going to be ready anytime before that. So I understand this. He's not there yet. He's not there. But anywho, so he gives the child the time. And, the child is upstairs moving around. You just hear all this movement going on around. I know inside of myself, the child is not doing anything. I feel like sometimes the child is upstairs and they just put their feet on the floor and they just, just doing this with their feet, like they sitting on their bed and they just doing this with their feet to make you think that they're doing something. You're not fooling me. I know you're not doing anything. I know you're not doing anything. Because when I come up the stairs, all of a sudden turns into, it's a big difference, right? The stepping, right? Other than you just, and then the room looks the same. Nothing's moved. Nothing. A shoe has not moved. A trash little paper hasn't moved. The jacket hasn't moved. You're not doing anything. You're not fooling anybody. So the child wasn't ready. The child wasn't ready. And he around here, doing floors and these things or whatever, and, gets himself together, and he comes back downstairs, and the child is still upstairs and has not made it back down yet. And so, of course, that turns into, I don't want to say Incredible Hulk, because, he's a gentle soul. He's a gentle soul. But sometimes, not so gentle. And so he was a little harsh, by calling her downstairs to get her downstairs because he wanted to go. Now, again, this is for the child. Where they had to go, it was for her. She needed to get there. I'm thinking to myself, like, why are you getting worked up in reference to this child that it's her thing that she needs to go to, that she needs to do it? It's not yours. So why you, just go on about your day. Go on about what else you got to do. And if it gets to the point where it's like, okay, well, I was going to do this while I was out, then you give yourself a time where you know that you need to be out the door. And if they're not ready, then they left. They're calling you on the phone. Where are you at? I need to. Yeah, sorry, babe. You weren't ready, and father needed to go, or mommy needed to go somewhere, and you just weren't ready. I had to leave you. Sorry, you weren't ready. And so I have learned this, but he has not. And so then, he just kept going, and I had to stop. I had to stop what I was doing at the computer and address the issue. Now, sometimes I just try to drown it out and continue on, but I had to stop because it was just too much. And I said, hey, you don't have to yell. You don't have to yell. Well, I told her she need to be down here. I got it. I understand. I'm with you. I'm with you right there. I'm with you. But you don't have to yell. You don't have to yell. I'm over here trying to do work. and you letting the whole, the whole vicinity know that child's not ready. But then I had to remind him that he said he was going to be gentle and kind. And so then his tone changed. He's like, yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, you sorry. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you're right. But you need to get down here. I said, well, if she doesn't make it down here by a certain amount of time, go on about your day. Go on about your day. And if you have time for the child and her activity or whatever, then great. If you don't, continue on with your day. Well, I told her. You're right, you did. You did tell her. But see, when you tell her a time, she don't hear that. If you tell her 2:30, she heard 3 o'clock. But I don't know why she heard 3 o'clock, but she heard 3 o'clock. Okay, I'm exaggerating. She heard 2:50. So I'm gonna tell her to be down there at 2:15 or 2 o'clock to where she's waiting, and it seems as though she's early. And she thinks she got the, one upper on you because she's early. Oh, I'm ready before them. I want you to feel like that too. And that's why you're going to get that other time. Yeah, see, I had to save myself from that because I understood that what I was communicating, the person on the other end was not receiving what I was saying. Conversation, sit down, the importance of timeliness and, not procrastinating and, getting up and getting yourself together and all. We've had all those conversations. But on the other end, they're hearing something else. And so I had to, okay, I'm not going to get flustered. I'm not going to be in the car continuing on about what you need to be doing and be timely and get myself all heated up and things of that nature. It's the winter time and then it feels like the summer. And then, when I get to the other end, I got to have a hot cup of tea because my throat, all the talking and yelling that I have done, no. I've saved myself. From the agony of it all. And so now I'm communicating effectively. I'm communicating effectively to where we can now leave out the house at a reasonable time. We're talking about communicating effectively and taking responsibility for what is being communicated. Now, we want to transcend this, right, into the workplace or into projects, into teams and assignments. Then, again, learning your people, learning your team members and how they function and how they operate, how they communicate is all key. I cannot come into a meeting and I want people to be excited about where we're going, and then I'm monotone. I'm just, there's some good things that's going on today, that's going to be happening in the future. I want everybody to get excited about it. I want everybody to be, really, really enthusiastic about these changes that are going to take place on our team. We possibly could be getting some increases in bonuses that are going to be coming forth if we meet certain quotas. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? But I'm saying that I want people to be excited. I'm saying that I want you to be enthusiastic about these changes that are coming. I think I'm going to be excited. I think I'm going to have some, inflection in my voice or whatever. I'm going to have some leaning in, while I'm speaking to people because I'm excited. And I want you to be excited about what I'm about to say. I want you to be excited about where we're about to go. But if I'm just monotone, you're not going to be excited. You're just going to be like, yeah. Somebody else saying something. You might even tune me out because you cannot take the sound of what I am saying. So make sure that when we're communicating, that our tone is right in the delivery. Our tone is giving everything of what we're saying. It's not just the content of what we're saying, but it's the tone in which we deliver it. You think about someone that may have lost a loved one or lost a pet or things of that nature, and you want to empathize and sympathize with them. You're not like, sorry. No, you're like, hey, sorry, I'm sorry that, for your loss. Is there anything that I can do for you, at this time? There is empathy in the tone right there, that you're letting the person know that you care about what has happened to them. We have to be very, we have to be mindful of when we're communicating with people in the delivery of it. Because I was terrible. Terrible. How to break that up? Terrible in it. Because I did not care how it came across. I just didn't care, to be honest with you. I got to get this out. I got to tell you what is going on with how I feel about this particular thing. And I'm just going to tell you how it is. I was not concerned about where at. I wasn't concerned about my tone. I wasn't concerned about my body language. I had to tell you the truth of what I believed what the truth was. And you were going to hear it. You were going to hear it. If you asked me, you was going to hear it even the more. But you was going to hear it. So I had no decorum, say, when it came to things of that nature. And so I had to learn. And one way of learning was, one, being more mindful of the person's body language in me delivering the message. I had to be more mindful of it. And then I also had to start asking for feedback. If you want to know the truth about what it is that you're doing, you're going to ask for feedback. You're like, no, Renee, I'm not asking for no feedback. I don't care. I'm not asking them how am I communicating with them. I'm not asking them, do they understand what I'm saying? I'm not asking, why not? Don't you ask for feedback when you put your outfit on? How this look? This look good? You asking your friend, you asking your boo, you asking your babe, you asking your children, this outfit look nice? Is it I'm trying to go for this look. Is it okay? That's feedback. That's feedback. How that taste? Tell me how that tastes. That's feedback. That's feedback right there. What you think about this hairstyle, this cut, this It's feedback. You're asking for feedback. So why is it that you can't ask for feedback in communicating? If the person is not automatically giving you the feedback, then you should ask for it. And what do I mean by automatically? Because there's some people that will actually give you automatic feedback. For example, I'm not hearing you right now. The way you're talking to me, I'm not hearing you right now. Do you think that I'm listening to you right now when you're talking to me like that? You don't have to use those words when you're talking to me. So what I hear you saying is that you want me to get the bag from outside and bring it in and put these items, take those items out that bag and put these items in and then put it back in the vehicle. That's what I'm hearing you say. Is that correct? So there's so many different ways that we are receiving feedback and then we're not being mindful of the feedback that we're getting so we can be more effective communicator when we're delivering the message. Now, if you're not getting that type of feedback, then you can ask for feedback. You don't have to say like, well, how am I communicating? You don't actually have to use those words, but what you can say is things of, hey, did you understand what I was saying there? And then kind of ask a question again, whatever. So what are you going to do with those? What are you going to do with the bowls in that bag that you bring in? And then you wait for them to tell you what they're going to do with the bowls, right? And they're like, okay, they got what I was saying. Great, wonderful, woohoo, yay. So you're always looking for ways to improve yourself. And this is one of them. I think it's a very big thing and one of them because we're communicating daily with the people that's around us. We're communicating in behavior. We're communicating in tone. We're communicating verbally. And we're also communicating written. And in this thing right here, these smart devices where we have social media, we are communicating there as well. There is a tone to your messages, your written messages. Let me tell you one time, early on, I sent this message and it was an email and I didn't know, right? I didn't know the etiquettes of emails. And so I'm just communicating again my message about, hey, this is not really what happened. This is what it's at. This is where I think, this is where I stand at on a particular matter, blah, blah, blah. Well, not realizing that I just put caps locks on and just start typing. Like, I don't want to be doing sentence case or whatever. I just want to get this out the way because I need to get this message out and I need to go out the office. Well, it was in all caps. And it was to my leader. Yee! Yee! And so, I'm laughing now, but it wasn't funny then when it came back to me. But, so another person saw the email and they were like, did you send this like this? Yes, I did. Are you serious? You sent a message in all caps. Yes, I did. Do you know what that means? That means that you're shouting at the person. No, I'm not shouting at them. I'm just responding to what they're saying and I'm just letting them know that, hey, I'm standing on this right here and this is, no. You're shouting at them. What? So then they take me to, this article and then about, email etiquette and things. I had no clue. No clue. So I'm reading this stuff and I'm like, OMG. I am screwed. I am screwed, right? So before the response came or I got called on the carpet or into the office, I immediately afterwards was like, oh my gosh. I sent a message. I was like, I do apologize. I was not aware of, email etiquette, whatever, because that just wasn't my job, whatever. I don't want to say job, but I just didn't do a lot of emailing back and forth before then. And so here it is. I'm kind of like in the office. I'm kind of like back and forth in the office and online. And so I just didn't know. And so it was just like, what are you talking about? And so I had to make sure that I took responsibility of what I had just did. And me taking responsibility of what I just did, allow that individual to respond back to me and say, hey, I saw the message before your second message. I was kind of, taken back, but I understand. When you sent your message, now I understand. I said, they might not know, but I understand. I thank you for responding. I thank you for your apology, and hey, even with your messaging, that was all caps or whatnot, I understand what you're saying here, and I can respect that. So let's have a conversation next week when I get back in the office. Now I think that if I did not send that message afterwards, and then next week came, and I would have got calls off, I think it would have been a different story. So in this, in the beginning when I was talking about being accountable, right, in your communication, that is part of it. I sent a message in all caps. I could have been like, I don't care, whatever. And then when a person said, hey, here's some stuff to read about email etiquette, I could have been like, I don't want to read that. I don't want, if you don't tell me what to do. I know how to write an email. You know what I'm saying? But there, I had to take responsibility for what it is that I had just did. Not only that, I had to take responsibility for even what was going to happen after that. So I could have apologized and still got reprimanded for it, because at the end of the day, I sent it. That's what I did. I sent it, and there was nothing that I could do about it. So we have to be mindful of what we're doing in all things. It's not just what we are saying, again, but it is the tone, it is the body language, and then it's also, verbally and written down what we are saying. See, some people want to get, happy in their social media and they just want to say whatever they want to say, whatever. But then when you face to face, they ain't got nothing to say, right? So don't think that because you're writing something that it doesn't hold just as much weight as you're saying something. Or when you're not even saying something and your body language is saying something else. No, it's still speaking loudly, whatever that it may be. Whether it's, disagreement, agreement, right? Happiness, sorrowfulness, it's all saying something. And so that's when it comes to effective communications, that we must be mindful of all things. If we want to get our message across, if we want to be in a space of understanding one another in our homes and on our jobs, even when we're out there driving, then we have to be mindful about what it is that we are communicating and how we want to communicate it. 100% relies on us. 100% relies on me. 100% relies on me and my deliverance. So whatever comes back from the other end, I have to take responsibility that 100% relied on me, that I can do a better job in my delivery. They didn't get it. They didn't understand everything. I put in, this order and I'm getting it back and it's not what I said. So let me go back again and let me try to do this again and say it in another way, maybe break it down a little further to what it is that I'm trying to get across. That's it. That's it. So again, this is all about taking responsibilities in your own life. No one else but you. When you're pointing that finger, look in the mirror and you'll be pointing your finger at yourself. So take responsibility and accountability for what you are communicating. You want to communicate love? You want to communicate discord? You want to communicate happiness and joyfulness and excitement? Then take an account of how it's coming across to the other person. So here we are. We're at the end of this thing. Hey, I told you we was going to get into it today. I didn't know exactly where we was going to go, but I just thought that was really good to talk about effective communicating and taking responsibility for our actions and knowing that you're the person 100% belongs upon you, because that hit me hard. 100%? What about when they? No, 100% relies on you. And so remember, leading is staying teachable in all things. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Until the next time, be blessed.